Hello everybody. We're going to do screen printing today. This is a piece of vinyl, permanent vinyl, like the 651 vinyl that I'm using. And what I did was I took my Cricut and I created a design inside the Cricut design space. And right now I'm weeding it. And what you want to do when you're weeding, normally when we weed everything around the design, and this time we want to do the total opposite. So right now you see me, like, I'm taking the letters and the different pieces out, so we can use this, and this is going to be our template, or our design for our shirt. Okay guys, now we need to get our transfer paper. What I use for transfer paper is the shelf liner, the clear shelf liner from Dollar Tree. It works fine and it's only $1. But you can use whatever transfer paper that you have on hand. The transfer paper is what's going to help you transfer your vinyl image to whatever it is that you're making, and in this case we're going to transfer it to the screen. And so right now I'm just cutting a piece that's big enough to transfer this design to the screen that we're going to use for screen printing. I would like to say that you may want to, I didn't, but you may want to mirror your image and put it on the back side of the screen. And just because doing it the way I did, it just created the stickiness that kind of stuck to the shirt. However, it still turned out great. But as we keep going, you'll see what I'm talking about. Right now, we're just going to cut a piece, and we're going to transfer to use this as to transfer to our screen. It's very important when you're attaching the transfer sheet that it's very that it's attached really good. So as I'm putting it on, you see I'm using a scraper because it needs to be everything needs to be touching that paper, so we won't have any air pockets in our design, because you don't want any air pockets, because then the ink can slip into that little area, and then it'll mess up your design. So right now I'm just making sure that this is on here really, really good. Now this is just a piece of butcher paper that I'm taking, and just to put the design, I'm using the paper to cover my table, but you'll see that we're going to eventually use that butcher paper to help keep the ink from transferring to the other side of the shirt. This is the screen. I got this from Hobby Lobby. I thought the price, I think it may have been $20, like $19.99 or something like that. But I got this from Hobby Lobby. Now I want to take the backing off, but I'm gonna pull the backing off as I try to attach it to the screen, just to make sure that I have all the pieces. And it made it easier to lay it down in place where I need it to be. Make sure when you have your design that you have plenty of area surrounding design, meaning you see my design is in the middle of my vinyl sheet. You need that extra area. You don't want to have like just the design and it's cut off, because you don't want to have any area where ink may slip into. So notice that my design is directly in the center of my piece of vinyl. And you can center this in design space when you get ready to print it out. Or if you use, you can also use, what is it, Silhouette Studios. It's free. They have like a free version you can use. And you don't have to have the Silhouette machine. You can also use that to print out, oh, well, you need a silhouette. I'm sorry, I apologize. You do need a Silhouette machine for this because you need to cut it. But just make sure that your design is in the center of your vinyl. And right now I'm making sure that all the pieces are down. I think right here a little piece got stuck. So I'm just taking my weed tool to pull it out because you want to make sure everything is sticking. I know that sounds crazy that I keep saying that, but you want no air pockets whatsoever to mess up your design. Okay, this is where we're making sure, again, I'm making sure there are no air pockets. I'm making sure that it's stuck to the screen. And this is the part where I was saying if you wanted to mirror your image, because the part that I'm scraping on is the smooth side. And so, but therefore, my sticky side is under the bottom. If you want to do it reverse, so your sticky side is kind of facing upwards, what you would do is just mirror the image. And where I have my vinyl on this screen, you would actually put it on the opposite side of the screen, because this side that you're looking at is always going to be the side facing up when you get ready to spread your ink. So you can always put your image on the underside. That way the vinyl won't be sticking to your shirt as you're putting the ink on. And again, you'll see why I'm telling you this towards the end once you see me after we put the ink on. Right now I'm just smoothing it out. You want to make sure all your sides are covered. I'm going to get some painter's tape to help this as well. I'm just making sure all the vinyl is down. And you see there's extra area on the right and the left side. And those areas we want to put painter's tape around. You want to seal up every area where you might have that screen showing. Right now I'm just taking the transfer paper off and making sure none of my pieces come up. All right, guys, we're gonna I'm taking the transfer paper off, but don't throw it away because remember that's reusable too. You can use that whenever you're creating other designs and to transfer your design to whatever you're crafting. This is my shirt. I'm just gonna lay it on my table, and that butcher paper that I was using to cover the table earlier, you're gonna put that up under in between the layers of your shirt, because like I said, you don't want the ink to transfer to the back of the shirt. So right now I'm just spreading it out. I will use a lint roller, which I did not use, to make sure there's no lint or anything on the shirt. When doing shirts, I always do 3 inches from the neckline. Do 3 inches, or depending, I have small hands, so or 4 fingers or 3 fingers. But that's usually my guide for where I put my design on my shirts. And right now I'm just lining it up, and I could see the tape measure up under the vinyl, so I kind of knew where I was as far as my design was going. And right now I'm just pressing the design down. Like I said, I did my vinyl on the top, so it's actually kind of sticking to my shirt. And I'm just making sure all the pieces are down. And because it's sticking to the shirt, that's why I was saying you may not want yours to stick to the shirt. And if you don't, you need to mirror your image and put it on the underside of the screen. This is the ink. This came from Hobby Lobby as well. The inks are like $9.99. I got a black and a white one because it's just I figure like that was a universal color. They also offer, or maybe it's like a starter pack, but the thing with this, and it was $20, I want to say. But the thing with the starter pack was it didn't have white. I think it had black and then 3 other colors. And I wanted to make sure I at least have black and white. I feel like black and white are the main colors that you need when creating designs. That's just a spatula that I had as a free gift from, I think, something I ordered. They had that, and that yellow scraper that I've been using as a free gift. However, you can use, I found a little 3-pack of these same spatulas at Dollar Tree, and you can use those for your ink, and that's not a big deal. If you don't, get a plastic spoon and make it do what it do. Improvise. Right now I'm just putting the ink out. I'm a little cheap guy, so I don't want to waste any ink. So I make sure I get the ink off the top and everywhere, because that's my ink I paid for and I want every drop. This is the squeegee that you're going to use to go back and forth with the ink. This is the point where if you have someone else to help you, you really could use someone else to help you. If you don't, you can do this alone. I will say that people do it by themselves all the time. But I'm getting my special helper, and he's gonna hold this down for me, and I'm just gonna go back and forth with the ink. And I want to say I do about 3 times. But you just want to make sure the ink is in all of the design, that you're not missing an area. So you want to make sure you go back and forth over all the areas. This is another reason you have to make sure all your areas are taped up, because like you see, I got ink over there on the painter's tape. So make sure all your areas are taped up. But just go back and forth with the squeegee, making sure that it's even. You want to make sure the ink is evenly distributed within the design. Okay, I'm just gonna clean the side of the squeegee. You can scoop this extra ink that's left over. You can scoop that back into your jar. I'm going to take I'm going to go straight up with the screen, and it's going to be a little sticky. This is what I was saying, because I put my design on the top of the screen. It's actually sticking to my shirt, which I just came straight up with it. It let her loose, and it was perfect. You can see, guys. And I thought I was filming, but I wasn't. So I want to make sure that you know that you need to let this completely dry. And then once it's dry, I let mine dry for a couple of hours, because once I did this, I went to the store, and by the time I got back to it, it was maybe 2 hours later. But it was completely dry. You can touch it, bend it, or whatever. But you need to make sure that you get a heat press to it for about 320 degrees for about 20 seconds to seal it, because that's going to protect it. You get to wash it or the wear and tear on it. So you make sure you seal it with the heat press. I didn't film it. I was looking for my film, and I thought I filmed it, but I didn't. But I did put this under my heat press for about 20 seconds. Thank you for watching, guys.